Okay, here we go. I wanted to tell y'all about one of the really cool things that God's done. He's done a whole lot of really cool things, so I got a list of them, please believe. But here we go. So, about 15 years ago, actually, I don't even think it was quite that long ago, my son will be 18 November 13th. And he was almost 5, or he had just turned 5 when all of this happened, okay? So, I lived in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I was going through a custody battle over my son, and I was losing my condo. Like, my whole life was falling apart. I remember I had been praying and telling God, look, I'm not happy. Like, I know I have the cookie cutter perfect life, and I know I did it all on my own. I know that you helped me, but I'm still not happy. I don't feel satisfied in my life. So whatever it is, I'm giving it to you, and I'm stepping back and I'm letting it go. You can just do whatever you want. And I really did reserve myself to that, right? Well, at the time I was dating this guy named Christopher. His name starts with a K. Chris had been through a lot of things that were a lot like what I had been through, right? And I had a lot of heart for him. And we worked together at the Taco Bueno that I ended up becoming partner in. So Chris didn't believe in God. He didn't at all. And I remember I would pray over him all the time. God, please do whatever you got to do to show him that you're real. Like, if you need to use me, please do. Like, I have no problem with that, but just do something. Show him, reach his heart, save him from the darkness that he's trying to kill himself, and in all the slowest, most painful ways. And he's hurting other people doing it. And it's like sometimes he would see it and know it, and he would beg me to help him. But then when I would try to help him, he wouldn't listen. He was not responsive to it, or he would make it worse, right? We all know, those of us that have people that we care about, if we stand with God, we know what that's like, right? Well, one day we were sitting in my car in the Quick Trip parking lot, one of them. There's hundreds of them everywhere in Tulsa. But we were 2, 3, 4. We were sitting in the Quick Trip parking lot, and I had noticed, like, I'd been waiting on Chris to come out of the bathroom. He was trying to shoot up in the bathroom, and it always took him forever to do it. And I remember I was sitting in my car waiting on him to come out, and there was this girl that was parked over next to me that had been sitting there for almost as long as I had been there, or at least as long as I'd been waiting for him to come out from in the bathroom, right? Well, he comes out, and he's all digging in the car in the back seat through the window, right, trying to find something to wear. And he grabs my shirt and he puts my shirt on. I'm like, bro, that's my shirt. Like, you're not wearing my shirt. I should have realized then that something wasn't right, because he was always trying to wear my clothes. But we're not going to go there, okay? Right now, anyway. Just take note that that's not the only time I've dated somebody that ended up being kind of, okay, straight up a closet homo. But whatever. I'm sorry if you don't like the way I say it. It's just what it is, okay? So this girl, she's sitting there, and she doesn't ever look over. She's not on her phone. She's just sitting there, just stoic, just sitting there. About that time, a bunch of cars start pulling up. I mean, when I say a bunch of cars, I mean easily 50, 60 cars. All of a sudden, just from all around the parking lot, start pulling up, and all these kids start getting out. And about this time, Chris tries to go hit on her, right? And yeah, my allergies are killing me. Not literally, but anyway. 4:19 on the clock. She tells him, she's like, I'm not here for you. I have no interest in you. And he goes to walk across the parking lot. He's talking and acting out and stuff, right? Higher than Cooter Brown. And she walks up, I get out of the car. I see all these people walking up, surrounded Chris, and I'm like, oh no. 444. I'm like, oh no, like, what's going on? And that girl stops me. She gets in front of me and she stops me. And if you've ever met me, I'm not the kind of person, first of all, 456, I'm not going to be mean to somebody. But I also put off, I emanate this don't F with me energy. And I was about to step in to protect him. And this girl stops, stands in front of me and stops me, puts her hands on my shoulders, and then gives me a hug and whispers in my ear. Now, this whole time I had been praying over him. And then at the same time telling God, look, I don't know if I'm really following what you want me to do. I don't know what's going on. I was having moments where I would lose connectivity of my own soul. I would catch myself saying something and feeling like I was literally in a whole nother time, a whole nother vessel, a whole nother place. Like now I understand that it was timelines coinciding, right? But at the time it was 543. I didn't know that, right? Well, all these people start surrounding her, and she gives me a hug and she says, "Don't worry about it." And I realize as I look out of the corner of my eye that all these people are laying hands on him. There's 2 Christian colleges there in Tulsa. And all these kids were from those 2 Christian colleges. I ended up later finding out that not a single one of them was in contact with anyone else. This was straight up a move of the Spirit. As these kids all surrounded him and started laying hands on him and praying over him. And they were all praying the same thing, but nobody knew. Nobody but God knew all the things that I had been praying over him and saying over him and speaking over his life and his family and seeing and recognizing and bringing to the Lord and telling him, look, these are the problems and this is what I see and please do something. And this girl gives me a hug. Look, I'm going to try not to cry, and I'm probably going to cry. This girl gives me a hug and she whispers in my ear, he wants you to know that he's proud of you and that you are doing his will. He wants you to know that he loves you and that this is for you. This is for you because everything you do is for him, talking about for God. And I was sitting there crying. I couldn't breathe. I was crying so hard because I could feel the truth in it. She said, we didn't come here today knowing why we were coming. And no, none of us contacted each other. It wasn't anything released on social media. It wasn't a plan. She said, I heard God tell me in the middle of dinner, and I got up and excused myself from dinner, that somebody that was to be the light for those that couldn't see needed me to convey a message. She said, so I've been sitting here this whole time. It was like an hour we sat there, knowing that it was me and waiting for God to tell her to move. God sent 2 colleges full of kids full of faith just like me to surround my friend and lay hands on him and pray over him so that I would see and know and feel that what I believed and what I had prayed and dreamed and hoped for, not just for one person and not for me, but for God and for all of humanity, was good and right in his eyes. She told me it's not going to be easy. He wants you to know he's not going to leave. He told you once before and he'll keep that. He's never left, but now it's going to get a lot harder. But don't worry, he'll come tell you himself soon. And then she got back in her car and she left. And about that time I turned around as all these other kids are dispersing. And Chris is just standing there in the middle of the parking lot, all of a sudden empty again. And he's just looking at me, tears streaming down his face. He said, your God is real. You're damn right my God is real. Israel is real. And now we're coming for all of you too.